Have you?
one.
Does this look familiar?
No.
Oh, come on.
Well, how am I supposed to know this one?
How do you gave it to me?
I did?
Yes. I like those kind of sponsors. I gave it to him. I told you this show can and will answer any type of question that you need to know. And if you want to know how to get beat by girls, just ask the question.
That's another kind of podcast. Girls are flying. Do it.
Yeah, I don't remember which button to turn, and the last time I touched that thing, the whole show shut down. I know.
Live from Pahrump, Nevada, the Valley of the Dirt People, it's Tech Talk, Taco Tuesday, with your hosts, Jimmy Lewis and Logan Tyler.
Uh-oh, I'm going to break it already. We'll just go ahead and start the show. Welcome to Tech Talk, Taco Tuesday episode. I'm pretty sure it's number 240. It is difficult to know. This is the show where we talk about motorcycle and motorcycle-related products. I'm a host of this show. My name is Jimmy Lewis. I'm going to avoid talking about myself as much as possible during this episode, but I'm lucky. I'm happy to be graced with my two latest, greatest sponsors in my racing career. You guys don't even know.
The last two.
The last two. Well, I mean, main sponsors.
Mine was like 6 years ago.
And that means monetary. Well, so I didn't want to talk about myself, so let's just cut to the chase. George Justice, and it's spelled exactly how it sounds. Yeah, you're just George.
Can you hear me?
Can I hear you?
Hello?
You can ask the chat.
Okay, somebody give us some feedback, even though I can't see.
I'll ask the chat here. There's a button I can push over here, and then I can see the thing. And someone says BRAP, and someone says on board, and someone says it's going to be another great show tonight, Jimmy.
Yeah.
Okay, and Jimmy, just you're just like Logan, except you talk a lot more.
Yeah.
My other co-host tonight, Jimmy Tyler.
Howdy, folks.
This is Logan's dad.
Yeah.
So Logan's not here. He's too cool to hang out with us anymore.
Actually, Grandpa, he falls asleep at like 7 o'clock.
Okay, he can't stay up late enough to be on the show. Good to have you. So let me just explain. When I raced King of the Motos about 6 years ago?
So the year I got my bike, what year's my bike? 19?
19.
So, yeah.
So George sponsored me for that, and then the last two times I've raced a motorcycle. So I didn't race all of 2024 until we went to the Fast 440.
Right. Yeah.
And I was part of the Woodworks Las Vegas door and frame
Yep.
team, vet senior Masters team.
The Masters team, we'll call it. Yeah. The
Masters
older
team. And I was surprised because I was ready to go there and pay my 1/4 of the entry, and I got sponsored.
Yeah. See how that goes.
Yeah. So I appreciated that, and then this year, I decided I was going to get my racing for the year out of the way. It happened at about 10 o'clock. I was at Tower Pizza right down the street here. I was with a couple mountain biking friends of mine from Bend, Oregon, that were down adventure riding and through Death Valley and all over the place. They had a little fuel injection problem. They swung by the Pahrump capital of I can fix it if I know you kind of guy. So we did a little work, got a bike working again. We were over at Tower Pizza about 9:30 at night. They say, Jimmy, what are you doing tomorrow? I said, I don't know. And
I'd already been bugging you.
Yeah, and by 10 o'clock, I decided, like, hey, I can go race that Hare and Hound. I mean, I can go out and go on a trail ride at the Hare and Hound because the course looks good. Because somebody showed me a video of the course, and I don't know why, but you, Jim, Side Panels, a couple other guys asked me if I was going to show up, and I'm like, unlikely, doubtful, never happen.
Somehow I knew all along now.
Yeah, I texted you about 7, 8 o'clock in the morning because with an 11 o'clock start, it makes everything a lot easier. Then when it's only an hour and a half away.
Yeah.
So I'm driving there. I text Jimmy, hey, I'm going to show up. He goes, oh, awesome. I'll see you at sign up. And I thought I'd just meet you at sign up because we'd be signing up. And nope, this guy pays my entry fee.
You're welcome.
Yeah,
Happy to do it.
Thank
It
you.
was
And
fun.
and for the pro class even.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, because the reason I rode pro,
It's a good
Is-
reason.
start on the front row.
Yeah.
That gets me in front of about another 80 other people's dust.
Or more, yeah.
Yeah, or more.
For a
Line-
certain-
that
not-
line's pretty big, man. I don't know.
Not for the whole run, though.
Well, I only had to be behind like
That was
like
the first 300
Maybe
yards you
40
were out of
people,
the dust,
40, 50 people.
according to the video.
yeah, the pro class probably had like 50 people on the line. Yeah, it was
that
50.
next one has at least 125, I'd say. So
Yeah, so yeah, I got sponsored and yeah, it was we'll talk because this is a show where we talk about racing and all of Jimmy's racing all at once and nothing else matters. But we would talk
it's
to
not
the
racing if you race, right?
we would
There
talk
you go.
talk to the pros and George, you're sitting here with a couple of accomplished racers because most of us just raced last weekend.
I know. I don't have that gene. I looked at that mess on that video you just showed, and I want nothing to do with that.
Exactly how
I
many
would have
times?
sat there and waited for all the dust to settle and just.
Then you're
roll
not.
off.
Then you're not a racer.
I'm not. Admittedly.
How-
Tell
well-
us about that start. Jimmy.
Well, you
How'd
liked
that work for
no. We're not going to talk about me tonight. Exactly how many times have you raced your motorcycle?
I think twice.
Twice.
My
Okay.
gold medals right behind.
I know you like to point that out. I was waiting for that. Yeah. So on the wall behind us, George has his gold medal.
50 plus squid, I think, was the thing. I was the only one in it.
Hey, love it.
You usually leave that part out. So, anyways, yeah, we would talk to the top racers because every racer wants to come on this podcast, but they probably all hate me or they don't even know who I am. Which
Got in their pockets a little bit.
Either way, I was probably the highest paid Yamaha guy out there. When you talk about all of our Yamaha stuff, and I was going to get into this too because I forgot to sign up for the Blue Crew Contingency Program.
Yeah.
And I think I screwed up because I probably could have maybe
Yeah,
double or tripled my. When you guys are talking. And Victor likes your mullet.
Yeah.
Sabotage says I'm as old as Af. I don't know who Af is, but doesn't matter. And Daniel says he can hear all of us. So good. And there's a shout out to
From my fan
Jorge.
Okay.
Flying
Jorge.
Brian.
Yeah, Flying Brian. Is
He's
he?
out of the north, the deep north.
That's who that guy is.
Mm-hmm.
He's not the Brian that used to work at the school here. Different
No.
Brian, because he went north
No.
too.
Flying Brian's like 100, but he's an old desert rat, desert
Got it.
racer.
Okay, so yeah, we got the fans in the chat room. So if you have questions about motorcycle related products, we may actually get to those tonight. So just put them up in the chat. You can ask us anything about. We can offer financial advice. If you have a door question.
Gotcha.
There's an expert here. Or if you've been involved in some sort of a sticky situation involving the sheriff or the highway patrol or, traffic or domestic, got a guy here that might be able to answer that too. You just never know. So we can answer all kinds of questions here tonight. You're still working full time. We're all retired other than Jimmy. Not this Jimmy, that Jimmy. So thanks for joining in. We got a good crowd going there tonight. So I'm just checking
I
to
got a
make sure.
question though. And I've asked this before and never got an answer. Why do all you racer guys go by your little boy names? Jimmy, Ricky, Bobby,
That's
Johnny. Why do you all go by the little boy names?
the little boy names.
That's a great observation.
I've never
Even
noticed
Andrew. Andrew's kind of a
Yeah,
little
it
boy
is,
name,
yeah.
more than Andy. You
Ant-
become an Andy. You should become an Andy.
Yeah, I don't know.
We should call.
But,
We should
yeah,
call
why-
somebody that
what is
actually.
that about that? You guys are like, you're both in your 50s, and
I know from
Robbie, Gordon or whatever, it's all little boy
It's a
names.
good,
What is that? Maybe some
lack
of the
of
audience
maturity, I
knows.
guess, but I like it.
right. I just tell you from my experiences. My dad was Jim, and I was Jimmy, and my dad always went to the races with me. So I just if you said Jim, it meant my dad, and Jimmy was always the kid, and I was a kid until he was going to the races with me till I was 24, 25 till kind of retired the first time. And then it just sort of stuck. And if you ever said
There's more to it.
if you ever said Jim, that wasn't me, and I never kind of switched over or adapted to it. And then people will call me James because that's my quote name on my official thing. And I'm like at the bank, and they're like James, and I'm just like
Who that guy?
dweedling myself.
the
I don't
doctor's
even respond
office.
to it. It doesn't
I didn't
work.
want to take us too far off the rails with this, But
No.
I told you
observation,
this show can and will answer any type of question that you need to know. And Victor says that that's a great question, Georgie.
Georgia.
Yeah, he just got handed he just handed it to you. So thank you, Victor.
Not the racer though. That's why they don't call me that. Probably would be.
You'd be Georgie.
Georgie. That's a
Yeah,
good
well,
one.
maybe we'll start
Victor's-
something here.
Victor's on fire tonight. Here
Yeah.
he goes. I can tell. It's going to be a good day for him.
Yeah, it's good show. Hey, and by the way, tonight we are going to start with, or at least you're going to start me with, the Canadian Gibson's finest, and then so
See
George,
if I can get the mixture
George is
right.
pouring.
since George is a quitter, he's gonna.
Your next sponsor is going to be from AA, probably, huh?
Well, when I start saying I'm going to meetings, it's not like go-to meeting or Zoom or anything like that. It's going to be meetings. Yeah, keep it on the low side there.
I
wanna-
just stopped, by the way. I didn't declare quitting.
Oh, you didn't? No. Oh,
No.
no. We're going to do it the Canadian style.
And
Thanks
that's
to
next.
thanks to Don. Don taught me this.
So you just like wave the cap over it? Is that
Pretty
enough?
much.
or-
Huh?
You're supposed to put enough in it so that it changes the color. And by the way, you guys be on the lookout because I am going to start a tequila podcast also.
Really?
Yeah, over.
Is that it? Or what? That's about all you put in the other one, wasn't it?
Is that how much you used?
No, I put a little more than that.
Yeah, a little bit more. A couple more drops.
it-
I'll tell you when the color changes. No,
got the
not
hue.
yet. Not yet. Just a little bit more, I think. Yeah. So I was told the way the Canadians do it, and for those of you that don't know, there's a country called Canada that evidently
The 51st
I
state. right?
heard we're gonna make it. I don't follow politics, but it sounds like they want to join our country, and we're not going to let them. Am I getting that right?
Something
Okay.
like that, that's what I heard.
I think we should because these very nice people that live underground, most of the year, and they come out every once in a while. They come down and they go ride motorcycles down here. This is how I know about them. Otherwise, they're pretty secretive. And a lot of times they bring me good things like Molson's.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a thing from Canada, and this Gibson's, and I even got an IPA that was one of the best IPAs I've ever had because it's actually really light. But we'll save that for the tequila podcast. If you have any motorcycle and motorcycle product related questions, this show is brought to you by Yamaha. Blue Crew, by the way. I rode my Yamaha WR450 to a podium finish in the women's pro class. I mean, Vet 35 pro class. But I would have finished the same third place whether I was a woman, which I'm not, but I got beat by two girls, or I got beat by two other old dudes. But they were probably way younger than me.
Probably.
Yeah. So if you want to know how to get beat by girls, just ask the question.
That's another kind of podcast.
Girls are
I think.
flying.
George, you want to ask the question?
What question?
How to get beat by girls?
How do you get beat by girls?
You sign up at a race, and that'll happen.
Then it'll just happen. They're good.
So I'd also like to thank Climb. If you're in the market for motorcycle gear, I'll tell you they make really super durable, long-lasting, great gear, and they got some new Dakar and XC. There's a whole new set of XC Light. There's Dakar and Mojave jerseys, new colorways. They got some new adventure stuff coming. The Rally Pro suit is all new for 2025, and the easy way to find this is you just go to their website, click on motorcycle or moto or off-road or adventure, and hit the new button. What's new? And it shows you all of the new stuff. So get in line for that, and I'll be wearing some of it real soon. I tore my Climb XC Pro jersey this weekend.
Did you?
Yeah,
On that start?
Okay, this is a good question. I actually looked at, because Cato sent me some photos. So Mark Correa sent me some photos of out there, and I noticed that the jersey was ripped almost in every photo. And I never ever ripped my jersey. It ripped down kind of on my belly, down in the front part of the belly. So, and I don't remember
Is
ever.
that where the guy ran over you?
Nobody ran me over.
No, he couldn't get over the belly. That's
Oh, that's
that's a hard enduro course to have those skills.
Oh boy. That's actually not bad.
Banging, yeah.
Yeah, it's
Great.
pretty good. I don't know what that costs. I don't know if it's a super expensive one, but
Well, if he bought it in Canada with Canadian money,
oh, it doesn't cost
we
anything.
could have bought it for nothing.
Well, now there's a tariff, right?
Yeah.
Now it's like 25% more. So this is tasting
Well, they
25%
backed off
better
on that, I thought.
because of that. Oh, it goes the other way? I don't know. Okay.
Yeah, if you got poor Canadian friends, send them some money because the exchange rate just sucks for them.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like, we get like $1.60 or something for every.
Dollar of theirs?
Yeah,
I know it's been
crazy.
I know in Mexico it's been in Mexico that's the country we're gonna that they want to join us from the south. That one, I think that it's been really steady down there, and the dollar isn't all that powerful. In fact, it used to be they always wanted dollars, and now they're like, dollars, no, not so much. They don't give you a very good change rate. Oh,
Exchange.
wait a minute, like that's a stab. Somebody named Casey is saying, I'm riding timber sleds in a secret location. Like, okay, so my question is, Casey, are you doing it right now, or are you going to do it in the next couple days? Because that'll reveal a little bit about the location. Because I saw some video. My buddies from Rabaconda went and got to ride snow bikes. They had not done this, considering they're from Norway, I think, right?
Oh.
You would think that they would be all into the snow. Hadn't done it, so they got to go up to the Great White North, we like to call it, and they were going to go. And I told these guys because they love riding. We went riding with them last year when they were down here for the AIM show, which we got to talk about also. And they were like, "Hey, what is it going to be like?" I'm like, "It's going to seem like it's going to be really hard, but if they take you in good conditions." And I saw a picture of him standing chest deep in powder while his bike was up on top of the snow, and it's like, that's snow bike conditions, as long as it's not gonna avalanche. Okay, Casey, I'll be seeing it maybe tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening. So maybe your other guy that you ride with will twist his ankle, and you'll need someone real to go riding with. So I'm taking off on a little vacation. Okay, so back to that race that allegedly we both did. How was your day,
Great.
Jimmy Tyler?
Fun.
Yeah, so
It's fun. I like it.
you raced A,
My Beta 390,
right?
an over 50 B class.
You want to list off your sponsors real quick? 'Cause that's
That'd be Woodworks Door and Frame.
Woodworks Door and Frame, Sportsman Cycle.
Sportsman, yeah, Gary helps me a lot.
Yep.
Sportsman, Dynamic Dirt, his suspension company. Yep.
Okay.
And
Yep.
then,
Got that.
he does got that bike the way I like it. So
And you what place did you get?
I got second place. And after getting lost and everything, I
That's-
took my funnest part of the race was me just absolutely blowing the ribbon and going kind of backwards. I think on a part we did the first lap.
Okay.
But the cool part was I took about 25 dudes right with me. I was the leader of the
Didn't
idiots.
lose any spots.
Oh, I did, but
So wait a minute. So where was?
right after Mini Moab, jump into the
Oh,
block,
on the
right,
second
just
loop.
before- there's
Oh, yeah,
that left
yeah,
coming out of that
I
block,
missed
and
that.
I went all the way to I-15.
Yeah. Okay. I missed that turn too.
Okay,
Yeah.
I
I
went-
didn't go to the 15, but
I
when
did.
when the guy I was battling with, because he had stopped to take a poop
Interesting.
allegedly.
I took a pee after the one.
Yeah. So he had to take. There's no because I wasn't going to beat him.
Yeah.
I'd rat him out, but I don't know. Maybe he doesn't want everybody to know that he's a race pooper. But I kind of caught him at the end of that thing, and then we were kind of going, and I was in his dust. Otherwise, I claim I would have actually seen the ribbon, but I was kind of a little bit in his dust, knowing if I can kind of stay close to him, I might be able to sort of get him, because I figured something bad had happened, because there's no way I should be catching this guy because we had such a big gap. And all of a sudden I'm like, oh, maybe he tipped over. Maybe he's got a flat tire. So I'm going to put myself in a position to be able to pass. I was going to get it set up. And then so I was just in and out of the dust, in and out of dust. And then all of a sudden I see him stop and turn around. And I hadn't seen any other turnaround marks at that point. And I kind of keen to, like, just from all my trail riding and rally, you know, you're always looking, you're always kind of paying a little bit of attention to tracks. And it looked like a lot of people had been through there. And, like, there's no turnaround. So, like, no, we're going. So I went ahead and kept going. Well, he saw me keep going. He flipped a bitch and chased me.
Oh, okay.
And then I went farther, and I'm going, I've been on long enough where I haven't seen a ribbon, and this is inconsistent with what I've seen all day. So I turned around, and I passed, like, 4 or 5 people that had begun following us, all of us. And right when I came back, it was plain as day. It was like, oh, look at those ribbons going up that canyon.
Yeah. No, canyon, I totally missed.
And here's just like, you know, you're thinking about like, okay, maybe racecraft or whatever we're doing. So when I was off ribbon and then I came back to ribbon, but I didn't see any arrows that pointed me that way. But I'm like, going, that's got to be where it went. But it was kind of, I was trying to stay in front of the 4 or 5 people. By the way, the 3rd place girl I think was in that group, so I could have been off the women's podium at that point.
Okay,
which is pretty important. So we went back up there, but they were all on my ass, and I kind of had to gun it into that little canyon, or they were going to pass me because everybody saw the ribbon at the same time, and so I had to get in there because it was going to be really dusty in the canyon, the little narrow canyon. But so I'm going in there and I'm on ribbon, I'm following ribbon, and there's a couple sections that are pretty tough, and I'm like, oh wow, and that was some of the toughest stuff in the race, those ledges,
that waterfalls and stuff.
Yeah, there's actually a really good video in Cycle News, or not video, but it's in the race video, and then there's a picture in Cycle News of a guy ghost riding his bike, and that's one of those little ledges. So when I'm going through there and I'm riding, and I get about a half mile and a mile in, I go, am I going backwards? Because that was something they would run you down, but not necessarily up.
It was pretty.
So in my head, I'm going backwards, but then I'm going, the next arrow I see, I have to make sure that I'm seeing an arrow and not a W.
Gotcha. Yep.
Sure. You know, it's like if they want us going this way, there will be an arrow marked pointing me in the right direction. There's an arrow marked pointing in the right direction. I'm all good. I'm on the course.
Yeah.
So it's just little things like that you may not think about as a racer. You know, you're just like, oh, I'm just going, and like, how do I know if I'm going the right way? Well, the arrows would be, you know, if you're going the wrong way on the course, if you don't know, I was off course, now I'm back on course. Am I going the right way? Is it white or is it?
Yeah, almost every time by that long, and it's longer than you're out there for sure. A lot longer. I get just a little wet brain and go into tunnel vision, and I just kind of follow in single track or something maybe instead of even, you know, that's what happened.
Yeah,
I was the guy who blew it for everybody. And I went up, and then I found when I got to the highway, I went, oh God. So I found this big hill, went up there, stopped, and it's just everywhere I looked in the valley was pretty much dust. I'm like, I don't even know which way to go. They're all, now I got looked like a
bunch of guys doing
video.
donuts.
I got 10 dudes down there doing circles.
Tell us about your start, Jimmy. That was a good story. I heard it.
Okay, so the reason I signed up to ride in the pro class, even though I'm 20 years too old for that class, 20 years too old for the Pro 35, is because I really wanted to go out there and go for a trail ride. I didn't really want to race. I mean, I kind of was going to ride a race. This is what I do. I ride a race. So I'm like, if I start in the front, I can get up there. I can just kind of take off. And so I actually lined up right in the middle of the bomb run. And then I thought to myself, I watched just some dust kicking up and from people walking around. And I'm like going, this isn't a good idea. I'm going to go to the one side because I know that if you're going to start in the middle and you get behind, you're going to have to stop. It looked like it, even though the wind was blowing a little bit, it was so dusty that you weren't going to be able to see. So I'm going to start off to the side. I'm going to get as far in there as I can. So maybe if I come to a stop when it clears up, and based on the way the wind was going, I would be on the wind was going to blow the dust away. I'd be on the inside of where the dust was going because it was kind of going the direction, but it was going off to the side a little bit. Okay, so I decided to move over to the very edge, and I started basically on the second row behind a few guys. And our good buddy Side Panels there. He's been on the show before. I'll save him the hassle of being named.
Yeah, leave the nameless.
Leave the name out. So I started right behind him and a few other guys. And so the bomb started. I took off, and instead of going right in their dust, I went outside of their dust. I aimed for all the people who were standing, because that's usually a good, smooth place, and people were jumping out of the way. But I was outside of the dust, and I raced to the bomb, and it funneled down to 2 flags you had to go between, but pretty wide. And then you had to make a turn and go between 2 more flags. And about, 100 feet before the flag, that's when all the dust from the fast guys
shuts you down.
just went down. And I just sighted on the flag, and I go, I'm not going to go on the wrong side of this flag, like somebody else we know.
Could be anybody.
It could be anybody, not the guy that his bike didn't start. Even though
Give his initials.
if you're a good pro racer, you don't need to really practice anymore. Your bike starts every single time. You have a system down, and think about it, people. Like, you want when you're at a race, what's the easiest thing to do? Make your bike start.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah. You should not have a problem with your bike starting. So my bike started right up. Anyway, I don't even practice it, but so if your bike doesn't start, it's something you're doing wrong. You need to go practice this. So back to the story.
Doesn't start because he modified it to get that extra 5 horsepower.
No.
I don't know about that. We could
Get to that flag.
check
That
it.
was an interesting
So I go into the flag.
in the blind. Right?
Well, it was
For
blind,
50
yeah, but
feet now.
it was pretty blind for a while. But I knew exactly where I was going, and luckily, like, I actually hit the flag. I was like, I went on the proper side of the flag. I went right to it.
Like a
That's
steer.
exactly where I wanted to go. And I go, okay, now I'm gonna pivot, turn, and get out of the dust. I've done what I was supposed to do. Get out of the dust, and I'm gonna turn. And like right as I go by the flag, and I can't see anything. No, it's just I'm in a cloud, and it drops off the hill, and I notice the front end going down, and all of a sudden it's like boom, boom, I get bumped, and I'm hearing bikes just like lots of revving and stuff going on, and I kind of turn around the flag, and I'm going, and then I start kind of like clutching it, and I'm gassing it, and I'm not getting any traction, and it's just dusty, and I hear bikes going, and I know I don't want to turn to the left because there's bikes going, and I think there's a guy laying on top of me at this time, but I might just, I say leaning into me. But then I realized I'm laying on the ground. I'm on my motorcycle on the side. It's like I'm playing Excite Bike. You know when you can lean the Excite Bike over too much and you can gas it, but like I'm literally, I can't see it.
It's like the dog sleeping and dreaming,
Yeah,
It's running.
chasing rabbits.
so I'm there and I realize, oh wait a minute, I'm crashed. I'm on the ground. So I kind of picked the bike up. And I try to come back up this hill. It's just poof dirt. And I kind of got it going. And I moved a little bit more. And then I think I got hit by another guy. And next thing you know, now I'm stuck in the hill. I mean, really stuck. Just digging a hole and making my own dust. I'm going, what are you doing, you idiot? Finally mellowed out, got traction, got up the hill and got out of the dust. And then you just see the dust. It was like it was exploding.
Oh, yeah.
Now I'm back in it, but I had a
That's it funny.
I probably had a pretty good start. We watched a video where you could actually see me just on the outside of the dust and just dive into the.
Good. Yeah, you were.
It wasn't that bad.
No, it was
but if I
fine.
could have got out without having the. I want to know what the guy laying next to me was doing because he was like wide open too.
Yeah.
We're just going
It
nowhere.
can
3
be so
gears, really
disorientating
clean.
when it's just you can't tell if you're hearing your engine, the 900 engines around you.
And because the dust, you don't know which way is up. I mean,
No,
it wasn't.
you'd lose vertigo.
I mean, I didn't even realize that the whole bike was like kind of. I was sitting on the bike kind of, and I think my leg must have got pushed out of the back because I didn't feel any pressure on my leg. But then I go, oh wait, I was hanging on the bars. I was probably so tense that I was kind of holding myself off the ground, and the bike was actually laying on the ground. I don't know. And I finally, just picked myself up. And even in that, it was difficult to know where was up.
Right.
Because I had to kind of, I had to take a breath and figure it out. So, so I don't know where I ended up, but I just rode out of the dust. Saw Mark Correa, gave him a shaka, rode by, and merrily went on my way.
Good times, right?
Yeah, good times. And then I went.
So you had fun?
I think I had a good time.
Yeah.
I don't know. You have to ask. Actually, so I got So on to my sponsors. My Yamaha W450, which, by the way, on the Instagram, Dirt Bike Test Instagram, I get a little walk around on my bike to show you what I rode. If you have any questions, I can answer that here. I can talk about the maps I used. I actually sent somebody was so curious, I actually sent my maps out because they wanted to know what maps I was using. That bike was way the hell too much powerful for me. If I had one complaint, now most people will not complain about that Yamaha WR.
It was a really technical course. There's a lot of good rock
there was
garden.
times in the third and fourth gear sand washes.
Yeah, I know.
Besides the Husaberg 570, there would not have been a better bike to be on because that thing was ripping, like ripping the knobs right off the tire. And that's watch the video, you'll see. But in the technical stuff, my wrists were bad. My throttle control was just on and off. And I now I have a thing. Now that I've done this, I'm like, hey, I know how I can fix it. And my go-to fix will probably be to run the idle a little bit higher, so it doesn't come on and off so much.
Oh, so it doesn't idle down
So
far.
because I like them to idle down a lot, so I get compression braking, but not at the expense of having that explosive burst of power. And I have in the maps that I used, and after further investigation, when the guy requested the maps, I went and looked at my maps. I had put a map in map 2, which is the mellow map, that was artificially kind of boosted on the bottom to make it not such a drastic hit. So my mellow map wasn't as mellow as it should have been. Bad on me, but then again, that's what happens when you decide to go racing at 10 o'clock. I did change the air filter before the race. I did that at 10:05 or whenever. I did the air filter. That was my race prep. So
No mooses. You and Logan both, but you got away with it.
yeah, that was lucky.
Logan didn't have them either. He don't like them.
No mooses. I just it was the tires and the wheels that were on the bike. I have so the other bike that I threw in the back of my truck just in case I needed something had a moose in the front, and did I have a moose in the rear? I don't know, but I had a spare set of wheels in case any. JCR Honda pitted me. Yeah, I had excellent pit service. Preston Campbell had a Modelo. I'm not kidding you.
Good
because
for him.
I jokingly, I said, I told him, I said, hey, if anything happens, here's where the keys are in my truck, and like that. If things aren't going too good, there's a beer in the back. I had one Modelo Tallboy, right? It would just happen to be in my truck, and I said, here's the stuff, whatever, and so I brought my gas and my goggles over, and I pull into the pit. And, I did it. I pulled in nice and slow, had my gas cap off. Johnny was there with the gas. And here's Preston with actually, Skylar had my goggles.
Yeah.
I had a full factory
You
pit
had some
crew.
pretty serious dudes.
Yes,
I mean, Johnny was stoked to
Skylar
pit
dialed
you.
me in with my ready-to-go new Scott goggles. And there's Preston. He goes, hey, Jimmy, you want a water or this? And I'm like, I look at it and I go,
good question.
I kind of want that, but I kind of want to pretend like I'm being serious. So I'll just take water. So, the race, 63.5 miles. I used 2.7 gallons of gas because I have the little instrument on my WR.
Yeah. Logan
Told me all
skipped
that
his
stuff.
pit. He just went on without gas, too.
Oh, he just did the whole thing? Mm-hmm. Does he have a stock tank?
No, he's got IMS.
He's got a bigger tank. Yeah, I could have done the whole thing on just barely, probably.
I think I could have, too, but...
on my tank, but I was glad I got to stop and take my gas.
That's me.
You had to gas your own bike, Jimmy?
No, I had the Honda B team. My
Well, he had the Woodworks,
Woodworks and
Las Vegas Woodworks door and frame.
Yeah.
Yeah, got it. I said it wrong on my little interview.
No, we have plenty of guys there.
Yeah. I was gonna pit with them with my sponsors, but I kind of pulled that cool guy factory
I
card
would have
out.
kind of done it too. I think if Johnny was offering to pit me, I would have done the same thing.
The worst part is when Johnny Campbell's just laughing at you from the time you show up at the race till the time you leave, just going, "What are you doing?" Yeah.
And I guess the beauty of that is he knew that when you came in, they would not be busy.
Yeah, they were done. Yeah, there was no more.
Yeah,
they
Work was done.
they pitted their main guy. He was out and good, and that was this.
There's kind of that factor.
whatever you need to do. Okay, so my race went really smooth. I had a fun time. I mean, I haven't done a lot of them, but I've ridden on race courses lately, and I thought that it was they haven't raced there for 20 years, so not a lot of hoop-de-doos in comparison. Stuff the weather conditions could not have been worse as far as like having no rain and how much dust there was. That was imagine if it was after an inch or two of rain.
Oh, good Lord.
Oh,
It would have
epic!
been-
Yeah,
would
because
have
some
been
of the sand washes and things.
the sand washes were still pretty good for
Right. Yeah, it's all good, but
kind of fun riding
like,
down
it
the
looks
middle of the I-15. That was kind of surprising.
yeah, in
between the I-15, that was
Yeah.
kind of interesting. I didn't think that would ever happen.
in
You're
between
riding in between the two freeways.
Between on the I-15.
Yeah, I've done that before. I've done that
yeah,
in
but-
old
yeah.
Casey folks when
yeah,
when
but
they were
you know, it's the new,
Yeah.
new world order.
yeah. So, anyways, one of the things we do on this this show is if you ask questions on our YouTube channels and videos, we will answer those. A lot of times we don't answer them in person because we get a lot, but we usually kind of collect them on Tech Talk Taco Tuesday and give you our best message.
But you didn't do any of that to prep for this show, did you?
Look at the guy who got, what did he get, fourth place at
He
the
did
race
all right that weekend,
is emailing me, checking my schedule.
Dalton Tyree.
see if I'm busy to do some stuff. 2021 Beta RR200 full test. What does Colin Box want to know?
The KTM was based on the 125 as well.
So we're talking about 200 cc bikes here. KTM's 200 motor
Was it
is
based on
was.
those?
I thought it was its own. It kind of was its own thing.
It looked like it to me. The cases always looked a little.
Yeah, they were a little
unique.
bit different. So, no, I don't think it was based on the 125. The Beta is definitely based on the 125, and the Beta.
The Beta 200. Yes.
Yeah, what
'cause
a-
it's got the weird slave cylinder stuff on it.
Yeah, what a good motor that is.
Yeah, it is.
And then a must-have part for all Yamaha racers. What is Chopper Enduro? I don't even know what that video is. It says pretty slick. Yeah. Oh, here we go. Doug Derby wants to know.
The Interbike show was great until it ended. At least here in Vegas, miss it.
And so he's talking about my AIM Expo show. You know what the Interbike, so Interbike was the bicycle show, the bicycle industry show. And it was the one kind of like the AIM Expo is in Vegas where all the motorcycle manufacturers and a lot of aftermarket and everybody comes in. The Interbike was huge. That was a big show.
Really? It was in Vegas?
Yeah, it was in Vegas. They've kind of replaced that with the EICMA show and the ones in Italy and France every year. But the cool thing they had was they had an on-trail demo day. So they actually did road bikes as well. They had a spot where you could go and all the manufacturers that have their bikes out there, and then all the dealers could go ride all the different bikes. Pretty important in the bike world because I think there's so many different bike manufacturers. But we used to go out to Bootleg.
Sizes, things like
Yeah,
that.
a friend of mine used to get me a pass for it, and we go out to Bootleg, and you could ride 20 or 30 different bikes if you wanted to. And I think if somehow the AIM Expo kind of had a ride day or something like that, put a ride day together,
Get a more buzz.
that would be kind of cool. I don't know that dealers necessarily, because most of the manufacturers, or at least some of them, will do a dealer show, and they will kind of put that in conjunction with it. I know like Beta did one this year up by their place in Paso Robles.
Yeah, Gary's doing one at Western Raceway.
Okay. But
in 2 weeks.
But that's a demo. That's just that's a
day.
customer demo day.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is like for dealers and industry
I
would get to ride it.
It's
But
different, yeah.
But yeah, and if as a customer, if you're thinking about buying a bike, if you can, go do one of those. Because
Yeah.
you may find you've been riding the wrong bike. And even if it's in the same brand, you might be riding around on a
Wrong size.
302 stroke and you realize that I should be on a 354 stroke or a 202 stroke or whatever it is. So I got to find out what that video is. It must be some new thing that Trevor did. He's trying to show me
I
up.
don't remember seeing it.
Something with the air cleaner there. What is that?
It's probably for the
the
field workout.
So the Yamaha, well, like the new Yamaha, the gas cap it's actually underneath the seat.
Right.
And the new one, I think they have something new, so it's a must-have part for all Yamaha racers. I guess we should watch the video. I can set it up where we can watch the video if you guys keep talking about the show. You carry the whole show.
Right.
Can't you multi-function?
I'm barely capable of.
The guy is saying stop edging it. That's
Stop
yeah,
editing?
good. So view video on YouTube. Hold on. I know I can make this.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh boy.
got the-
Wait.
I know a guy.
Old side panels needs that. And
Look at
okay,
that.
we're gonna put this up on the. Hold on. I'm gonna pause this. Okay, hold on. Wait. Jeez, I just broke it. Here.
We probably lost sound again too.
No, it probably works. I know how. There's a thing I can.
That
there's,
is awesome.
There's a thing I can push on this show. I can. I can probably break the entire show. Let's see.
Shut
here.
her all down.
Shouldn't be too hard to
Colin.
bring us to our knees
Uh,
at this point.
well, at least there's sound this time. There's a special. Oh, here we go. Watch video. Okay, if I do this, and then I tell it to do.
Did we just disappear off the screen now?
Yeah, we did. Hold on.
Something.
Wait, I got to turn it on.
This
No
is pretty
webcam,
cool.
wide cam. No, Chrome screen. It's on. Let me set the properties for this thing. Hold on. Dirt. How's this?
There we
Look at
go.
this. Watch this.
Enhance.
This is
You can click
if
it up.
you are a young go-getter. There we go.
I like it's got the dust cap for the dry brake, or whatever you call that, the dust cover. That is super cool.
And how do you find that video to watch it with the voice and everything, Jimmy? That be up on dirtbiketest.com, correct? Is that Trevor doing that? Now he's just trying to get back to where you were.
And undo what we done.
About the Bear Concepts dry brake cover
So
for
look at that.
Yamaha.
I'm a
It has a
professional
dry
at doing
brake
this. Now I
receiver
gotta
cap.
shut it off.
And the seat cover,
That was cool.
all molded.
That is a cool part.
There we go.
Whoever
Okay,
made that.
Bear Claw.
Oh,
I thought you were supposed to pay attention, and I was going to drink
well,
more.
I didn't hear anything.
Okay.
I don't have earphones.
George, aren't you running this thing?
Huh?
The show? Yeah. So don't give Trevor any credit. I've got his replacements coming. So my friend Chris Wu, his two kids, and by Wu you can maybe just guess like
Yeah. I think I know
so
where
you
you're
know
going.
because Trevor, Hunter don't, but I got his two replacements coming, and Chris Wu's kids are like they're practicing how to do dirt bike test interviews and dirt bike test. They want to test bikes, so they've got a Yamaha TTR 50 and a TTR 90, and they went out to do some practicing for their videos and all that stuff like that. And unfortunately, I guess somebody got a little cattywampus, did some swapping through the bumps, huckabuck, and ended up with a little had to go to the emergency room and had a little ginch when the face hit the dirt and then the bike landed on top of the head. Lucky kid was all okay, except the goggle frame might have got his eye a little bit, and so he luckily avoided stitches. It was able to be super glued together
Nice.
at a 6-year-old's request to the doctor. Like he's like, "Doctor, I don't want to get stitches," and he's like, "Well, what do you want me to do?" He goes, "Can you just glue it?"
I like this guy. I like this guy.
Trevor's on the way out. Like
After that, yeah.
I got his replacements coming.
Yeah,
They're- these
Trevor's.
these kids will probably work for like 1/3 of the price. You know,
Got a little sweatshop going there with his kids.
right? Yeah. Well, Wu's just looking like, hey, if I do this right, I'll never have to buy him dirt bikes again because Jimmy will get him bikes to test, and then we're on the factory train. And if you think you can test a dirt bike, because I think we got an email or somebody on the Instagram said, hey, I want to test dirt bikes. If you want to test dirt bikes for Dirt Bike Test, if you want to test them for anybody else, just especially if you have a giant set of what do they call those?
Hands?
Brains. and you just show those on the internet and take a nice picture, you can test for almost any other outlet because all they're looking for is views. We actually test the bike. So if you want to test for dirt bike tests, go ahead and take something that you're very familiar with, a product, a bike, and go look at our website and use that as a format and send me all the information that I would need to test whatever you're talking about. Let's just say it's a set of grips. Not that difficult, not that technical. Give me everything I would need to take the information you gave me, and I'll throw it. I'll literally take it and I'll throw it at the internets, because that's what I do. I just throw it at the internets, and then magically that whatever you see on Dirt Bike Test or the video on YouTube, it's like this show. We don't do anything. We just sit around here and talk, and then again, like I was
Drink
talking.
tequila and-
Hold on a second.
Got another question up here too. This
Okay,
is a
have
good
you?
one.
Does this look familiar?
No.
Oh, come on.
Well, how am I supposed to know where that's from?
How do you gave it to me?
I did.
Yes. I like those kind of sponsors. I gave it to him.
Or he took it out of your truck.
It's still out on my shelf.
I got that at Heather's birthday party.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, my Hall of
good
Fame,
Lord.
my Hall of Fame party, which
Yeah.
is, you know how nice my wife is.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah. So my wife
Are we gonna
had
try some?
her birthday was interrupted with my Hall of Fame celebration. Oh yeah. What do you think I brought it out for? We got to say this is a tequila Kamisi.
Kamisi.
And you learned about this because you
I
bought
did.
it. You
Yeah,
bought it the
I
day.
hung with that guy, and he got. Oof, we did some. The guy at the Total Wine took care of me.
Right. So this is Kamisi. It's a
You want it in the big glass
what do they
or
call it?
the-
It's a filtered one, right?
Yeah, I can't remember that.
Hold
It
on.
was
Let me
tough.
read the label. This, like, we have a couple fans here that like the tequila stuff. It's
little cup or you-
it's an Ajo.
Are you doing in the Hall of Fame cup, Jimmy, or?
Of course. Well, why wouldn't I?
That's how you.
Let's see. Yeah, so it's a master distilled
Thanks,
passion, all this other stuff. So yeah, some good stuff. So I thought I'd break that out. So thank you for the
Yeah.
George. You wonder what it's like, don't you?
I smelled it.
Hey, remember when you were in that club?
Still up on the wall, 200.
Really?
Okay, so we have questions that we're gonna get to here.
So I like that one from Anthony Zuka.
Oh, Anthony, yeah.
Oh, Anthony.
Can you explain the Jimbo method of mixing premix?
So Anthony is our new electric bike guy, by the way. You know you know who Anthony is?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Anthony's our
490.
electric bike guy, and the Jimbo method for mixing premix. Okay, so the Jimbo program is and it's hard to explain, but it's
It's not hard to explain. The first time I saw it, it was kind of entertaining. So we had a two-stroke.
Oh, but
for
we're
a
talking
class.
about the global program. But the method, you know how you poured this in this glass?
Yeah,
It's exactly the same as that.
yeah.
You estimated how much you needed, and you delivered it. And if you did it wrong, we would have some problems.
You'd seize up.
Somebody could seize up if there wasn't enough, and if there was too much,
You'd load up,
yeah, somebody would load up.
right?
Yeah.
Is there a ratio right on this premises?
Yes, two. I have two. I have
Okay,
two
okay.
ratio rights, and actually,
That's actually kind of low for how much of everything else there is here. That's really not good.
yeah.
There is more, the most unique shit for a dirt bike here than that.
Hey, but none of the bikes that I ride on a regular basis, except for my YZ125, need premix. The only thing that needs premix is my hedge trimmer, which I now have an electric one. Don't use it anymore. My weed whackers, I now have an electric one. I don't use it anymore. I just got a pile post driver. I use that. I never want to use it again anymore. And the other thing is the hole digger, the auger. I mixed gas for that. And I did it exactly like the way I've done it in most of my motorcycles forever. But I don't know if you know where I was going with that electric.
Yeah, I
It's
see.
like, yeah.
So you think
It's-
an electric 125?
It's they make a lot of electric 125s. They just don't make an electric 500 that can burn through a full tank of gas for me. For
I get it.
if I'm working on the Jimbo program, back
Yeah, I get
to
it.
loop it back around. So no, Mark, you probably have not seen this. You know what's funny? I remember the first time I had this, I didn't like it that much. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, it is not a. Why don't you hold that up there, George? Show it to the fine people on the camera. It's not a. I thought it was a. What do they call them when a charcoal filtered one? What do they call those? It's not. No, it's good. This is one probably all of the famous tequila tasters will go because it tastes like it has a little bit of flavoring to it.
Okay.
Should have Janie write it down because you got the 250 thing going now. The 250 club down at Ramirez.
300. It's going straight to 300. I'm already at 250. We left you behind a long time ago.
Thank you.
On that one. Yeah, well, we didn't want you to feel like a quitter. So where did my YouTube videos go to? I was going to kind of finish. I might have closed that tab down. That could be bad. So do we have any other questions? What else were we going to talk about? Somebody did.
I got a good question for you.
Okay.
You got a second?
Sure.
So, a couple weeks ago we were riding and I got the new tire, but it was on too small of a mousse. So the whole tire wasn't, one whole side of the bead wasn't on there, right?
Okay.
Like you've seen before, right?
It never beat it up.
It wouldn't bead. The mousse was clapped. It was too small for the tire I had. We just wanted to go riding. It's a ride day, right? Me and Logan. And I'm like, man, I'm so off every time we're hitting whoops. Now, it was only on one bead was on. The other side was off, right?
Right.
And the bike was kicking. He goes, the bike is kicking left every time. And I'm like, because the sidewall is going to be much different one side to the other.
Was it which side was down?
I can't really remember now, but I'm going to say the left side was fully beaded and then the right side was off the bead. The moose was just, too small.
Left side's fully beaded, and it was kicking to the.
It was kicking
because you think about how that's gonna work.
But it would not. It would either which way it kicked. It would keep the bike from being kind of square, right?
Oh, for sure.
Okay, so because I told Logan he was crazy.
No.
He goes, "Oh no, Dad, it's kicking weird."
No, he's right because you think about how much tire
kept blaming
technology and
myself.
stuff goes into the sidewall construction and the carcass constructions of a tire. It's huge. I've ridden the same tread on 3 or 4 different carcass constructions, and I've ridden different treads on the same carcass construction. I will tell you that the carcass construction, by far and away, has more effect on the performance of the tire, especially we'll call it the suspension effect of the tire.
Sure.
Like I would say,
that sidewall's probably going down into the spoke well.
It was. It stayed there basically. Right? So it would do that with every bump. The other side it would stay up, and the other side, it would drop in there more.
It's falling in more.
Right. So, he was feeling it. He was correct.
He wrote it, and he goes, "Dad, that's totally what it is."
Because you think about it, if it's sliding in, it's because it's going to slide in and out. It's underneath the mousse, and so the carcass of the tire is not doing its job.
Correct.
And especially when it's on one spot of the tire.
It was the whole side.
Oh, the whole side didn't go in. Did you try pumping air into it and popping it out?
It was just too small of a mousse.
Okay.
I changed tires. Too small of a mousse. Said, piss it. I'm going riding. It was an old mousse.
Right.
Old combo.
Just getting it done.
I was just going riding. Whatever. Yeah. Just whatever.
Yeah. So I've never seen him not bead the whole time. It's usually
it wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
It's
I won't.
Still sitting there and beating.
Yeah.
It
At that point, I'm like going, okay, I need to cut that mousse and stuff something in there, or I need to do something different. But it.
It was him. He wrote it, and he goes, "No, Dad, this bike is not."
I for sure felt it when it didn't beat up, and I thought, if I ride it, it's going to heat up and pop on there. I didn't actually pump air into it to pop it up, and I figured I'm going to ride down the road to get to where I'm riding. It's going to pop out at that point, and then I go out and first thing I do is do a couple turns, and I go around a turn to the side. It's like, you
I know. I hate that feeling.
Yeah, you feel it, and so yes,
But I was feeling it in the whoops, like specifically. I'm just the kind of guy to just blame myself. I'm like off today.
Yeah. So this is the kind of question you can ask answers to, because I can answer 9 out of 10 questions without referring to the reference manual. And the people go, well, how do you know all this stuff? Because I've done it wrong before too.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh-huh.
I had back to my friends that showed up here Friday night. They were out. They're on a kind of dual sport / adventure ride, riding all over the place. My one buddy gives me a call, says, "Hey Jimmy, got a bike. It's KTM 350, and it's kind of crapping out. We changed the fuel filter. We don't know what's going on." And I'm like, "Okay, fuel filter. What led you to that? You know, what's it doing?" And he's like, "Well, it doesn't idle very good, and it doesn't run wide open air very good. But if we can get it running in the middle, it kind of goes." So, and generally, it's like anything. How do you diagnose this stuff, especially when you're just doing it off the phone, off of a call? It's like, George, what does it take a motor to run?
You need an air fuel mixture, you need compression, and you need a spark.
Yep, there we go. So that's really all it takes.
That's like
Fuel.
6th or 7th grade power mechanics or something.
Well, they don't teach that anymore. Now you go to alien gender rights class. So and by alien I mean the ones from outer space that live over the hill from here.
Oh, okay.
So by the way, tonight on the show, George Justice, your favorite ex-tequila drinker who is on the wall at Ramiro's, and Jimmy Tyler, my sponsor, both of my sponsors from my racing last
I sponsor your sobriety.
6
He
years.
sponsors your racing.
So George told you like 7th grade auto mechanics will tell you need fuel, you need spark, you need compression. Bike had compression, okay. Then is it fuel or is it ignition? Typically, ignition problems tend to be very on-off. So if you have a kill button and you're riding and you tap your kill button, or you turn your key on and off in the bikes, that's going to simulate what an ignition problem feels like. It's generally very sudden. It doesn't kind of taper on and off and get better and worse. Most electrical problems happen, either it just plain doesn't run, it just stops, or it gets hot, it gets a little bit crappy, and then it stops. Bike cools down, then it works again. If you're wondering how to, kind of diagnose it, think along those lines. That's sort of the typical electrical thing. Fuel tends to be very inconsistent. Generally, when you're having a fuel delivery problem, in other words, whether it's a plug jet or a plug filter someplace, something that's causing, it tends to begin at higher RPMs. In other words, higher fuel loads or big throttle openings. Higher RPMs, big throttle openings is where it usually starts, and then sometimes it's down on the bottom end. Like it kind of doesn't work because there's not enough pressure. Because you think about it, where the bike really needs a lot of fuel is when it's big throttle opening or when you're doing a big throttle change. And generally when you're cracking the throttle at the beginning, you need a lot of fuel right then and there. So if there's a fuel delivery problem, that's what happens. So he said, it's not running on top, it's not running on the bottom. I go, fuel. That was just my kind of go-to. I'm like, well, look inside the gas tank and see if you see, because it's KTM, look and see if you see any gas squirting out of the filter or bubbles coming out of the filter, just a visual thing. They said, no. Okay. And then like somebody is in the background's going, I just changed that, and I'm like, wait, did he just did he just change it, or did he just change it before the ride? Because now I want to blame the install, whatever. Like, what was it? And then if a problem just appeared, always ask yourself, what was the last thing I did? And then they kind of said, no, they changed the filter, they changed the small filter, all the things. And then I'm like, I said them, do the test. They don't have a fuel pressure gauge, but I'm like, squeeze the fuel line and push the starter and you'll feel it pump up. And it should hold pressure. It shouldn't instantly kind of go back down. And they're like, well, it kind of feels kind of spongy. But then it was this diagnosis over the phone, inconsistent. And then I'm going, well, maybe it could be kind of electrical. And I'm like, did they do anything with the battery, replace the battery? And they're like, no, because sometimes if the ground wire comes loose on a KTM specifically, because if the battery starts going bad, the bike just does this intermittent thing that actually acts like a fuel thing. So all these different things. So I checked the ground wire. Okay, that's good. Whatever, and it didn't work. Does it run? Yeah, it kind of runs. Bring it here, because I'm not going to do this over the phone. Brought it here. We checked the fuel pressure. It got fuel pressure. It was a little bit low, but it held. and everything's just like, well, got to pull a fuel injector out. And so, by the way, I think on our Dirt Bike Test Instagram, not too long ago, I showed you how to make a made in Mexico fuel injector cleaner.
Oh,
So you actually use a piece of fuel hose, you pull the fuel injector out, and you wrap duct tape around the nozzle of the
I saw that.
long skinny hose, and it pressurizes the fuel hose that's clamped, and you use the clamps to clamp it onto the fuel injector, and then you start the bike. So you have it disconnected from the bike but wired up so it opens and closes, and you force the contact cleaner backwards to the fuel injector, and it cleans it out.
And meanwhile,
Yeah, because you need the 9 volts or whatever it takes to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and Mark, for sure, the first thing I said is the fuel line connected? Because he says it sounds like it was sounds like he says never seen it home. I think that's sarcastic. Sounds like the fuel injector was getting plugged up. Exactly correct. The fuel line connection was not secured properly. That was the number one thing. Did you hear it click when you put it back together? Because I've seen a lot of people get them to stick back together, but they don't click, and so it might open it
Will
up
that
just a
even
little.
start?
Yeah, sometimes they'll only open up halfway, but it's not enough to flow the kind of flow that it needs.
A lot of people talk about replacing that little conical screen in there, but you haven't really had much issue with those getting plugged up, have you? In all your bikes? The
Only
little
when
inline one?
only when something is going wrong, meaning that your internal fuel filter
Delaminating or something.
is coming apart. There's something going wrong with that, or your fuel line in between the fuel filter in there, and it's generally the one that it's external. And now, if you have bikes that are 2012, 2015, that have had some bad gas or race gas left in it, different things like that, the fuel lines are coming apart. That will plug that filter. And we even had down in Mexico, down in Baja, we had 2 Golan filters, obviously from some bad gas, plug up. And we were able to rinse them and get them to run for about 20 miles at a time after rinsing it, but you had to force it. And even just yesterday, Jeremy here said he's having a problem. I knew he had a Golan filter. I'm like, hey, really pressurize, flush it backwards, just see how that works, because he was describing something that was kind of similar. And then he explained to me crystallized ethanol. Okay. I am not a chemist, and I don't even claim to play one on this podcast, but he was like, oh, well, yeah, you could soak that in, this kind of fuel cleaner, and then it would evaporate out, and then he put it back in. He said his bike's working great. So evidently that Golan is restrictive enough to where maybe even the ethanol can kind of get in there and crystallize on it, and you can kind of just gingerly flush it, but you're going to have to be aggressive. He may have actually heated it up, Jeremy, when he told me what he did. So
Ethanol's just bad. Let's get rid of that too.
get rid of what?
Let's cancel ethanol.
Well, then if you want to get rid of the ethanol in your fuel, pour water into your gas. That'll get rid of it.
Turn it into what?
It absorbs it and drops it right to the bottom. And hence lies some of the problems with ethanol, because then when the ethanol absorbs the moisture and then it sits, then the moisture gets back out depending on the temperature, and it goes and creates like mold or algae inside of things.
That's what that brown stuff is. It's algae.
Green, brown, yeah. So yeah, all the things. Yeah, if your bike's sitting, ethanol's bad. If you're running it, it's not too much of an issue. And let's not get started on race gas, right? If I had a race gas sponsor, we would. But by the way, there's some other companies that help us out in the show. If you're watching the revolving screen up in the back, of course, Yamaha revs your heart. I need to go get my Blue Crew rewards. I need to get on my Blue Crew rewards. I was going to find out how much that was worth, wasn't I?
yeah.
Let's see if we can search that out. Let's guess, George. How much?
Guess what?
Contingency.
How much? How
What
much?
it would have been? $200.
Uh,
$200 for
yeah, that's
third and
yeah. I actually looked at this not that long ago.
Oh, you did?
Well, because I told Side Panels to get it figured out.
Oh, is he
I would
signed
hope
up?
so. I don't know.
Because they have a new enhanced Blue Crew program. Allegedly. We're not dropping frames here because the internet's acting really slow. This could be
Why are we using that Starlink you got out there?
this because
Yeah, I got one in my truck too.
Kill it.
because it actually it doesn't go that far into the building. It's
Oh.
let's see, racing. How do I find it? Motorcycle racing. I need to explore it. I need to accept some cookies here. Contingency. That's what I want.
Yeah.
Send me the money. Find the series. AMA National Hare and Hound. NAH. You see it any place?
Yeah. Probably NHA, National Hare and Hound Association.
Oh, here
Oh,
we go.
off-road.
Off-road events. Here we go. Hare and Hound. There's $58,000 available. I'm going to click on 6 events.
It's just telling you how much is in there.
I want to know how much I lost if I didn't sign up.
Yeah.
Maybe I need to sign up. I will sign up for this tomorrow, and if I
Might not be too late.
lost. Green hard algae. That's what the stuff is in the thing.
In your fuel?
Yeah, register for contingency. I could probably do it while I'm doing the show, especially if somebody was pouring me a little something. We can have a little bit of more of that. We'll just stick to the same one. The Carmista.
Yeah.
Carmita? Carmisi. Yeah. That's good. That was a good Jimbo premix
Yeah.
mix right there.
It's
So
32-1 instead of 40.
register
Thanks, George.
for contingency. I'm working on it. Back to the questions. I know there's some more questions. What does Robert Stedman want to know?
Thanks for the detailed review. Just looking for a small tour only. The cutting out issue covered simply as well. We'll be buying one soon. A+. That's on the KTM 390 Adventure full test video.
Good thing for him. There's a brand new one of those coming. Oh, so have I done this show? I haven't done this show since I've been to the AIM Expo. So if you want to know what I thought about the AIM Expo, there's a YouTube video up about that. Kind of lightly covers it. If you've seen that, thank you. If you haven't, I'm not going to go over it again because that's why I did it the first time. But I did get to talk to people from KTM, specifically John Heinz, who is the president of KTM America.
You shot down your idea of buying Husaberg.
Yeah, he wouldn't let me buy Husaberg, by the
What
way.
an idiot. He's making
Well,
bad calls.
it's funny because now there's a few people that have got behind and they are saying, hey, do you think it's possible that we could put something like this together? Like now I'm leading the Husaberg army.
Well, he made it sound like if you wanted to inherit those old books, which I don't think you really want to.
Maybe
That was kind of his. Like, if you saw those books, you would want nothing to
It's
do
probably
with that.
saddled with debt.
That's what I think what he meant.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that. So anyway, so people are going like, "What's wrong?" So I talked to some dealers, and these are the questions that dealers are getting. I heard KTM's are all half off. That's what people come in, and that's somehow they've obviously not watched this show because I haven't said that they're half off. I did say other things, but not that they're half off. Actually, I didn't say anything that was inaccurate. Everything I said was actually relatively accurate. But they come in and say half off, and the other half of people come in and say, so that's a really good price. Are you selling it at that price because I'm not going to be able to get parts in 2 years?
Yeah, there you go. You know that's coming.
So they have like a 96% parts fill ratio, and it's actually really good. You know, as far as like stuff that's back ordered, but 96% is really good. There's parts still. They have, you know, their warehouses in the U.S. are stocked with parts. Yeah, things are going to slow down a little bit in
Are
Austria,
they
but
still bikes coming off the line
right now,
today?
no.
Nope, the line shut down.
Yeah, it's yeah, they stopped, and I'm pretty sure I didn't specifically ask it, but I'm pretty sure they were going to stop production until March. They were going to start up again, and then
Okay. Just till the inventory depletes, probably. Or
the
hopefully.
inventory is not going to deplete.
Oh, they got that
There's a lot of bikes out there, a lot of bikes available. They didn't say that. We just know this. Those numbers are out there. They're going to start up again, but they're going to start up slow, and they're not going to be nearly as big, and as they're not going to make nearly as many. So, in the meantime, there's plenty of inventory to keep dealers. Dealers kind of had a lot of bikes pushed on them, and yeah, that was probably a bad thing if you're a dealer when you go like, how am I going to sell all these things? But that's when all these incentives were coming out. That's why, up until the new year, it was a really good time to buy a KTM. The deals were insane. I was blown away. I wish I needed new motorcycles, and I wish I had money at that time. That would have been a good buy.
Yeah.
There's not the incentives right now, but they're still out there. The bikes are still there, but it's going to be harder and harder to get a KTM. They're gonna adjust their market flow to do it, and KTM is they've got a plan. They've got credit. I don't know what's going to happen with creditors that are now being told they're going to get 30 cents on the dollar.
Ooh.
I don't know if they're going to accept that and what happens with that. I don't know if we're going to lose some companies that are relying on that money. That 30 cents on the dollar isn't going to keep them in business. These are the things like that's kind of downflow of what's going on. But there's bikes available. KTM dealers are going to be there. There's going to be parts.
I obviously I just bought one, so I'm not afraid of the parts thing.
Yeah, and that's what KTM. KTM USA. That's and the brands that go with the Husky and the Gas. That's what they can kind of be in control of. What happens at the mothership is a little bit different, but I think I don't want to say that they're too big to fail, but they make a good product, and there's people there that that whole community, Mattighofen, depends on that business. And it's not just KTM; it's all the businesses that support the people that live there. That
Sure.
That's kind of like I would say a one business town. It's like what happened in Michigan when
Yeah.
Ford and GM rolled up some of the plants.
Yeah.
Those areas kind of shut down, and
They are
I don't think
scary.
they want that to happen. Could it happen? Maybe.
Yeah.
Will it happen? I don't know.
Do you got an opinion on what you think KTM did wrong to get to this point?
Spent like drunk sailors
Okay.
in not in a lot of
In
ways.
the true form of a motorcyclist, right?
I don't think in a bad way. And the obvious one is the racing activities.
Sure.
They were
MotoGP, things like
they
that.
were all in. MotoGP is not cheap with all their MXGP and racing activities all over the world and all different kinds of things. And you saw them starting to wind the screws tight. Starting last year when they said, oh, maybe this isn't going to pay off. There's some of that, but they've been investing crazy in R&D, and those dollars, that you could say is kind of like money well spent. And because that's what's going to keep your products
Top of the line.
going
whatever,
forward and doing things. They bought a lot of companies, and like, oh, it's crazy that they bought Gas, and it's crazy that they bought Husky, and I think they were pretty much given Husky. BMW almost gave it to them.
Gas, no different.
Gas, I'm pretty sure they got it a heck of a deal. And a lot of the times when you see companies, like look at the Honda Montesa relationship. Mm-hmm. Why is Honda so? And it's because it has to do a lot to do with import, and manufacturing in different countries. And if you have a business there, it's easier to move your products back and forth, and vice versa. So there's some of that with Gas, because Gas was a Spanish brand,
Spain.
and I don't know the inner workings of it. Again, kind of like my chemistry degree, my degree in business is 100% non-existent. Yeah, I think I took a business 101 class that I drew pictures of motorcycles on my Peachy folder the whole time I took that.
It just seemed odd to me that they're buying up so many brands and everything. And
Yeah.
it doesn't seem odd to me that now it's led to kind of a bad position.
MV Agusta.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
do one or
How
a
many
couple
people have owned
things.
MV Agusta?
Do one or a couple of things really well.
I never understood the
And stick with
MotoGP
that.
thing because I don't follow street bikes, but I don't see any KTM street bikes on the street. So what were they trying to sell dirt bikes with that? Because I doesn't do it for me.
It's the most
I get
after
it.
Formula One,
Yeah, I get that.
it's the next most visible thing. And
awesome. You got a
and,
feather in your
I mean,
cap, but you're broke.
do you think how many cars does Red Bull sell? You know, it's just you're putting
Yeah.
your brand out there and doing stuff.
Yeah, I get it.
You know, so there's all this stuff, and I'm not a business guy, and I think there's a lot of different ways to attack it, and how do you market, and how do you do stuff. But it came down to it. Yeah, I think they kind of went nuts, and if it had worked out, you know, just say that all their spending and stuff had worked out, maybe that would have catapulted them to the whole. Maybe they're going to start making cars, which they tried to make too.
The expo or whatever.
You know,
yeah.
You know, maybe there was a whole. If this works, this is, you know, it's kind of like an all in at the table. It's like, I feel good about this. I'm going all in at the poker table, and it didn't work out. And so that's my take on it. I think as a motorcyclist, if you didn't know about any of this stuff, none of this financial news or anything that hit the table, you just going into your KTM dealership, you probably wouldn't notice a difference, except for now the guy has a lot of bikes on the floor and they're selling at a pretty good price. And maybe just like when we were kind of going into COVID, there's less bikes on the floor and they're getting a little bit more expensive. It's going to be a supply and demand. And hopefully whatever this kind of, you know, the U.S. distributor is able to buy enough bikes to from KTM when they start producing the new one, that it pays off the debt or the bills that they have going forward. It's just, I guess that's business 101. I think. I don't know. Yeah, not so much KTM, but the parent company. I just saw the thing from Gronk. Gronk's back. He's one of those guys from that country that we're going to own pretty soon. The parent company over at X, so it's Pierre Mobility, which owns a lot of other things. And I think a lot of the companies, I think a lot of the companies that KTM is in debt to are owned
By KTM.
by KTM or that group or somehow. So, yeah, and the street presence is huge in Europe. It's definitely bigger than here.
Oh, good.
They went.
Good to know.
They became the biggest European motorcycle manufacturer. They surpassed BMW, and that's when save you from us. The good thing is here, none of you are going to travel down here anymore. That you're all, and then you're trying. And the craziest thing you Canadians are doing, according to the news that I watched at least 10 minutes of news the other day, and you're trying to not buy American-made products. So nobody's eating any fruits or vegetables, what else? There was
America, Chinese food.
yeah. Well, you got to put a lot of stuff. Okay. Where were we at? So KTM. Yeah, don't worry about it too much. By the way, this segment is brought to you by Yamaha, a very financially strong company. Yamaha is ready to sell you anything you need: a YZ 4-stroke, a FX off-road bike, or a WR. Like I raced at the
Piano.
National Hare and Hound.
Harmonica.
Tons of stuff for kids.
Oh, yeah.
Tons of stuff for kids on Yamaha.
Yeah,
too.
lots of kids' bikes.
And you got any? Why don't you have all Yamaha sound equipment here? They're sponsoring.
I have a Yamaha. This is a Yamaha soundboard. This one.
Okay.
And if you don't shut up, I can turn on the voice-o-matron and make you sound like a girl.
Oh, do it.
Yeah, I don't remember which button to turn, and the last time I touched that thing, the whole show shut down. So we're
Viewers would probably appreciate that about now.
okay. If you want this show to shut down, just let us know. We can make this happen. We got new messages coming in. Eggs are $10 a dozen, and is Jimmy's tequila gone up in price? Good
You know,
question.
you spend a lot more on tequila than eggs.
Ask Gronk how much 10 American is in Canada.
Oh, he wants us to save him from themselves. That's not very patriotic, bro. You need to crawl back into the hole, sing that song that goes coo 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 coo, and drink. What do those guys drink? Bob and Doug.
The Strange Brew.
Yeah, they had a special beer.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, we sang that. We actually I got a copyright violation for that. We had the Take Off song with Geddy Lee singing it. We put it on the show. We were making a joke about this. And it's still a few months till Gronk's igloo melts, but he bought a Cove 450 Rally and he's coming in May. That sounds. Oh no, his Cove is coming in May, because you should come to the NORA rally. By the way, NORA rally.
Have it in time.
Yeah, the NORA rally. By the way, I should just a little shameless self promotion as the motorcycle race director. We're limiting the entries to 40, and it's going to sell out. It's like there's like only like 10 left or something. So it's
Cool. Good.
gonna be filled up, which is really cool. Okay, back to the YouTube questions, because YouTube need to know. Right there, it's talking about our 2024 YZ450 FX project bike.
And it's crazy that motor mounts make that big of a difference.
Well, for some riders, they absolutely do. Like, so we changed some motor mounts on that bike. I didn't ride it, but I know Trevor did, and he has a pretty good feel. Mm-hmm. And what he talks about makes sense. I actually don't. I'm just riding the WR. I'm not riding the FX, but they're different. I think FX and WR are the same. I'd have to look at the spec sheet, but I have no problem with the handling of my WR. It just has too much power. I need to get the power smoother, and then the handling will only get better, because handling has a very direct relationship to the power of the motorcycle, and that's why 250Fs sometimes, like, slow bikes just handle amazing, and on a 250F, because you're dealing with kind of a, they're all kind of at 10/10ths, and you have one that's at 9/10ths, and you go, God, that bike handles great. It's because you're not stretched. The motor
bounded up or whatever.
More rideable. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is the Yamaha XT250 a real dual sport bike?
Thanks, guys. Accurate review. I sat on that bike at the dealership. Very comfortable seating position.
Should I use the automated answer? We're glad you agree. It's a very comfortable bike for a variety of riders. Thank you, AI. You can answer my questions for me.
Yeah.
And pretty soon, this show will be done all by AI, George. So
yeah, let's do it.
We'll it'll recreate our images, and then I just say, hey, make a new episode of Tech Talk Taco Tuesday. I should do that and put it up and see how it goes. It might be better.
Yeah.
Come on, man, 4K. Active life, happy life?
Yeah, I don't know. Something about the Gas EX300.
4K. Oh, maybe the video quality is really cheap.
Oh.
Is he? So we're gonna look at his.
Somebody asked that about video quality.
Let's see what his video, his
a
35
mountain biker.
subscribers, and what his 15 videos say. He's a mountain bike guy. Are all his videos say, I ordered a new bike in 4K? Should I stay or should I go in 4K? I don't know.
4K, that's a video quality?
I'm hoping that's what it means.
Okay.
I'm not really sure.
He likes them, needs those funnel webs and tough filters. Oh,
The Tough Jugs.
Pinky Werewolf.
Yeah.
Or Tough Jugs, I'm sorry.
I got to see what Pinky Werewolf has for his YouTube channel. He's got 67 subscribers. Well, he's an adventure bike guy.
Yeah.
And, Pan American. He's a Harley guy too. Yeah, good. You should see some of the emails I got about people that wanted to. Hold on, here we go.
About the AIM Expo.
Yeah, AIM Expo. What does William Leonardo say? I haven't read this yet.
Hey, Jeremy, that's awesome. Are you Jeremy or Jimmy? But okay. That's awesome. I love the Houston Bird idea. How much do you need to get this thing started? Wait, I think I'll have a bunch of beer cans in the backyard. I could cash and get this thing going. Love the Hoover. I got 5 of them. My brother's got 8. Remember visiting with you in the 80s when you used to live in Moore Park, California. Have a nice day. I got no. What is? I'm lost.
That's AI.
Reading like Logan used to.
Yeah.
Well, you wonder where he got it from,
Yeah.
right?
But that guy's got a dirt bike in his picture, and wait,
Okay. Well, no, he's been hacked by AI.
Gotcha.
So somehow, does he have cat videos or just videos of his feet?
I don't know, but either way, I don't want.
No, this is so
That's
so
not
so
his feet.
no, so he So this poor guy got hacked. He's on YouTube. Somehow something got a hold of his thing, and it just takes words, and it searches the internet and it grabs, because it's interesting. There's some key things in there.
Did you live in Moore Park or?
I live near
Yeah, yeah.
there. Yeah, and so it has a lot of things in there that it's comparing things. This is where we're going. Pretty soon you're going to get calls from AI, and it's going to think it's your mom or your brother or whatever, and they're going to want money. And next thing, let's see. People are saying thanks for the video.
Yeah, it's a cool video. I liked it.
M. Frank Mont 1884.
Looks like nobody but you and some vendors that were there.
Well, so a lot of times when I was shooting the video was before the show opened.
Okay.
And then kind of like just for sound, because it's pretty noisy inside there. So for sound, so a lot of the videos that it's sections you're seeing, but I don't think the attendance is as high as like when it used to be back in Cincinnati and Indianapolis when the show was back there. But Vegas has a lot of distractions, and I was only there on, 1.5 of the days. I wasn't there the full part of the show, and it fluctuates. There's times when you're elbow to elbow with people, and there's other times looks like there's nobody there. So I'm pretty sure they would have liked to have seen more people, but that's the way it is.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Jimmy, I noticed you had a hard time mentioning China.
Did I have a hard time mentioning China?
I don't remember that, but
yeah,
it was kind of crazy. All the different countries, how they were just
okay. Here,
boothed up there.
Let me answer him right now. That's an interesting observation. I'll be sure to be more mindful of that in future videos. Reply.
Okay.
That's exactly what I would say. Lots of Chinesium. Let's see.
Callie better hurry with the new big reveal. I'm looking for a new dirt bike.
And I've got a lot of questions like, hey, what do you know about that Kawasaki two-stroke that they kind of? I don't know anything about it.
Yeah.
If they've done anything, it's been in well-kept secret. The people I reached out to say yes, we are developing a bike. Further, not necessarily somebody that would really know, but somebody might know somebody kind of thing. So third hand, I hear they're making new mini bikes. Like they're updating their mini bikes, which definitely needs to be done because you go there now and everybody's on the KTM products. At their mini bike races, there are in Kawasaki, with their Team Ging program, they want to have a reason to have the fastest young kids on the bike. So that's obvious. That would be a for sure one. But when I listened to that video that Kawasaki released, and it sounded to me very much like a KX500.
Oh,
it made KX500 noises. Now, whether that's what they had to record at the time, they were able to fire up one of the KX500s in the lobby or one that's in the back someplace, and that's the noise they used. It sounded like KX500. It didn't sound, and frankly, that sounds, as far as your ears go, that sounds better than a KTM 300, for instance.
yes.
The carbureted two-stroke sound has a sound. It goes brrrap.
Yes.
And that went bring. It
Okay.
definitely sounded like big bore two-stroke. Now, I don't know. You think about it, the KX500 motor back in the day had a power valve on it, which was different than all the other 500s. Yamaha had a 500, didn't have a power valve. CR500 never had a power valve. So it was a pretty modern motor by that time. So what's to say that they're not taking a KX500 and fuel injecting it?
Yeah.
Who knows? You can speculate all day long. But I also have heard that they're going to have some sort of a bigger bore competition bike. It's not a trail bike, it's a competition bike.
So would you bet on them coming out with a new motocrosser two-stroke or off-road bike?
I would say it's going to be both.
Okay.
I think the manufacturers, all of them now, are very aware that if you're going to make a motocross bike, you can bleed it into a quote X version.
Yeah. Pretty
Yamaha FX, KTM XC,
Yeah.
Honda X. You can bleed it, and even like Triumph. Triumph's brand new to this market, and they are making an off-road bike very soon. There's no,
Yeah.
and they're going to make a dual sport bike as well.
Yep.
So
I
it's
heard
like if you're going to make one of these, you're going to make. So I would suspect it would be both. If it's 2-stroke, can it be, EPA compliant, or is it going to be competition? Everything I've heard is just competition.
Okay.
So I think that's it for our YouTube questions. Thank you everybody for answering those. If you do submit on our videos and stuff like that, we will usually answer them here on the show. So XT250 is legit, but it's a compact bike. This is true. And Troy says, no, aim attendance was way down and the spirits were low. Okay. I had a high spirit in there. I guess. I don't know. I'll tell you what, in the China section and in the Taiwan section and some of the places that used to be a little bit more frenzied, that was, I thought, that was off. And I don't know. I think there's people that they can go in there and they can find like the anodized parts and things like that. But I didn't see a lot of that going on. Yeah, I would kind of tentatively agree with that. Yeah, it could have been lower than usual, but it's not like the old days, and that's really it. So, Victor, do I need any volunteer fluffers on the Nora rally?
I can tell you every door hardware convention's the same way. It's just they're literally talking about conventions going away as far as that goes.
And that's what I mentioned.
It's just too easy to spread it out over other avenues now.
Yeah, you can bring all your vendors to your place and do your thing there, and then you get them exclusively.
Yep.
It can be done online. I mean, now they do a lot of stuff online because, I mean, how much more people's time's a little more precious.
Massive mails that
Yeah.
just show you, here's our new widget, man.
Yeah, you can send them a video, and you don't need to.
Yeah, it's
And then you can
we're all busy.
you can hire some influencer with big big brains to rep your product on a video, and then everybody watches it. So, well, that's it for Tech Talk Taco Tuesday tonight. I think
Thank
we've
you, everybody.
answered 9 out of 10 questions. No, we did not do a Rooster Endo because I think we only got one submission. So if you want to be on a Rooster Endo brought to you by Taco Moto, did I put you to sleep yet,
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
George? No.
I
Do
was
you have
just
any?
gonna say, if you came in late, go back to when Jimmy talks about the start of his race. I think that's a pretty funny story.
Yeah, if you can find that, you should have been. So as a good co-host, George, you should have been taking notes, and you said, "Oh, we're at minute 42," and then you could at the end of the show here, people could go to the end of the show and they could go to the summary.
Rewind to that.
And if somebody were better at doing this, when we posted it up, it would actually have those chapters and stuff on it. But do you know how much work that is?
No,
I'm gonna go
and I
riding.
don't intend to find
Yeah,
out.
I'm gonna go riding with my wife. You know what I'm doing next week? Motorhome bumper biking.
I saw him out there on the bumpers,
Yeah,
bro.
got one in the front and one in the rear. I got an XR 150 on the back bumper, and I got a TTR 125 on the front bumper.
Those are test bikes, new ones.
Yeah, we're
Nice.
they're not new. We've been testing them. We're gonna take them out. And we're gonna test them.
Nice.
Yeah, we're gonna go. We don't even know where we're gonna go. We're gonna go exploring. I'm gonna bring my climb hiking boots, and I'm gonna have a helmet and some gloves and some Scott goggles. And I'm gonna ride the TTR 125 because I'm Blue Crew. I'm making my wife ride that Honda.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways, okay, everybody. Thanks for joining in and enjoying the show. We had 42 million people watching tonight. You see that?
Mhm.
Yeah,
Wow.
42. That's not a new record, but it's close.
It's pretty good. You should take Braybeck or somebody to get up there towards 50.
Oh, that donkey. He might show up again.
Yeah,
You never
where's
know.
he? Why is he watching?
He's a professional rally racer, and he's gonna have to jet set across the world to go race in sand dunes someplace next week. So, yeah, can't come it. But Skylar House did give me my goggles during the race. So thanks to Skylar, thanks to JCR, thanks to Woodworks Door and Frame. I said frame and door last time, but Woodworks Door and Frame. If you have a lot of money and you need a commercial door in your building, you call up Jimmy and say Jimmy sent you, and they're like, which Jimmy? And you go, that washed up X motorcycle race that you sponsored. You know that guy? And then I'll probably get my next entry fee paid.
Jimmy hooked up.
Hey, man.
Jimmy hooked up my buddy in Northwest Montana with
Yeah.
Ah.
a part too. Works well.
So, Okay, we'll really
good
shut
stuff.
we'll really shut the show down and find the damn button to make it work. You know, the hardest part about shutting the show down is actually making it turn off. So
Stop.
with everybody, we'll see you
See you on
out
the
on the
trail,
trail.
guys.
Cheers, everybody. If you liked what you saw in this video, come check us out over at dirtbiketest.com on the webs. We have bike tests, product tests, a lot of fresh dirt, and you can even support us by clicking through our links. Hopefully, we'll see you out in the trail.